Alright, motherfuckers. I am back once again, and this time I really need you to lock in and listen and really hear what I'm saying, because if you do that, I'm like, no kidding, it could genuinely change your life, okay? But that's going to be up to you. If you take some of the advice or, inspiration from my journey and apply it to yourself, and also if you have the attention span to stick through the video, because most likely it's going to be a longer one. Now I don't know for sure, but there's a high chance of it becoming a longer one. So today I'm going to be talking about how a fat ass got jacked, okay? So I'm actually going to start off a bit by telling you my background or my lore, and also kind of like credentials, I guess, because some people may be like, why should I listen to you? And at the end of the day, you have free will, you have free choice, you don't have to listen to me at all, but I thought I'd provide some things that maybe could give you some credibility, or why maybe I may be worthy to listen to. Not that it's fucking needed, to be honest, free will, but I will do it. So if you don't care about, Skropan lore or my story, then hopefully I'm not a lazy motherfucker. So there's a bunch of timestamps here, so you could just skip and get it right on. But I wanted to get my lore out there a little bit, context. So, why am I saying that a fat ass got jacked? And yeah, all of this stuff. Okay, so growing up, I was not a very active child. I didn't like sports or athleticism or any that kind of stuff, right? So, I literally didn't do any sport, no football, no nothing, no hockey, anything like that. Didn't play an instrument. The only thing I did was I like to be creative, come up with things to do, make movies, stories, that kind of thing, create stuff. Also, just playing around, having a good time with my friends, and also, very, very big one, video games. I love video games, have always loved video games, and it was pretty much the only thing I did when I was younger. It was like my main interest. Kind of missed out on a lot of life experiences simply due to preferring to be home and play video games instead. Yeah. So maybe then you are not shocked to find out that I wasn't in great shape. My health wasn't good or anything like that. Growing up, I wasn't anything too crazy, but as I got older, probably somewhere around like 9-ish is when I started to get, overweight, and then it just spiraled all the way into my teenage years, where I was pretty overweight, and it fluctuated a bit, but I think when I was 16, 17, then I weighed like 100 kilos, and it was pretty rough. It was pretty rough. Now, granted, there's some more lore to that story. I actually got a stress-induced psychosis and some shit, which actually caused me to gain this weight, kinda too. Anyways, that's a story for another day. So, point is, obese, to be blunt, fat man, teenager. How did I get jacked? How, and this is when I throw in the credentials, how did this nerd turn into BOOM, this roll epic montage of me looking sick and lifting a bunch of weights and being strong and handsome and all of that stuff, right? So how did this turn into this is what I'm going to talk about, teach you, and give you the information that you need to do it yourself, and also learn a bit maybe. Also, I may add that I am a personal trainer, and I am also a licensed dietitian here in Sweden. So I have an education in this area or aspect too. If you're like an old boomer who's like, well, do you have any education? By the way, I think that is such complete bullshit 99% of the time. My friend, brother, if somebody is spitting and they know what they're talking about, who the fuck gives a shit if a college gave him a piece of paper or not? I know it's not that simple, but kinda it's that simple at the same time. So anyways, big fucking rant ski aside, so let's get into this, shall we? This is like going to be like a spiritual successor to the last video I made, which is how I, an idiot, made a $10,000 business. So if you're interested in getting your money up, you broke piece of shit, then you could definitely watch that video too. So in the same sense, I am going to be following the same formula. I will be drawing a bit on my iPad to hopefully make it a bit more engaging, and also, you know, so you can see what am I ranting about, and maybe I can express myself a bit on the iPad. You dig? Nice. All right, guys. So we'll call this. Oh shit. So we'll call this how to get jacked. All right. And I'm going to do my earnest, wholehearted attempt to really give you all the information that you do need in order to become sick, become jacked, become cool for the summer, my friends, okay? So, first off, and the simplest one is we're gonna have to be doing some training, okay? So let's really dive deep. Why do you need to train? Why do you need to exercise to get jacked? Okay, let's put it on a really dummy level. Okay, you need to exercise to get jacked, mostly to get muscle mass. Okay, so that's going to give you the look, because you could be super shredded, like barely have any body fat, but look like shit. Okay, you're just gonna look like a stick if you don't have any muscle mass. So we want to train to get muscle mass. And also for most of us, you know, watching and overall in our world, also to, you know, feel better, get more energy, just be healthier, better blood markers, you know, health markers, all that shit. But naturally also because training helps us to, you know, look better because we sleep better, and also, you know, the thing I've been beating around the bush, we expend more energy when we exercise, when we train, which is more likely to put us in a caloric deficit, which basically means that you are expending more energy than you are consuming, eating, sloppy bastard, which then means that you're going to lose weight, okay? So why? To get jacked, I'll write big muscles, okay? So, and as for the training, it doesn't matter too much what training you do. Like, obviously, if you want to get bigger muscle mass, and like that, purely that aspect, then yes, regular strength training at the gym is definitely going to be your best bet. But if you want to look jacked or get stronger, get more muscle mass, then you are going to be able to achieve that through so many different ways. It could be through boxing, it could be through football, it could be from fucking maybe cricket or some shit, bro. I'm telling you, like, and this is a big one, okay? Because you need to exercise, okay? That's just a non-negotiable. But don't make it hard for yourself. If you absolutely despise going to the gym and lifting weights, then why brute force your way into trying to make it into a routine and something that you do regularly if you hate it, okay? I'm not saying that you're always going to love training, you're always going to love exercise, or, you know, it's always going to be fun. Absolutely not, okay? No, it's not like that. But, you know, if okay, I'll just talk from my perspective here. I do like strength training. I do like going to the gym. So that makes it so much easier for me to show up, because I enjoy that form of training. Now, that doesn't mean that there aren't days where I don't want to go to the gym. Point is that if you are starting to exercise, then pick some type of exercise or something that you do enjoy to at least a pretty big extent. Now, that could be football, it could be boxing, it could be MMA, it could be swimming, it could be running, it could be literally anything, okay? But, so, I'll write that down. So, pick something you don't hate, okay? I think that puts the point pretty good across what I'm trying to say here. Because I'm not saying, it's not necessarily something you like, it's something that you don't hate. It's probably the more accurate way to put it, to be honest, okay? So pick something you don't hate. And then, like, how often? Like, how often should you exercise? So, impossible question for me to answer. I don't know how your life looks. I don't know what your background is. I don't know if you're a man, if you're a woman, if you're 10 years old, if you're 70 years old, okay? But, you know, most people are going to get the most out of their training and also have the highest quality of life overall with everything in life when they exercise somewhere between, I'd say, 3 to 5 times. And you know, for some people it's going to be 2. You get the point. Somewhere around 3 to 5 times is probably the sweet spot, the ideal place to be for most people if you want to maximize your results and your quality of life, okay? Doing less than that will jeopardize your progress, how much you're actually getting out of it. And more than that will probably jeopardize your quality of life, and ironically, maybe also how much you're getting out of it. Now, this is way too nuanced, too deep to go into explanation for this video, but very simply put, less is more sometimes, or actually quite often, okay? So if you're training 5 days a week and then you bump it up to 6 or 7 days a week, not nearly guaranteed or certain that you will get a better result from that. A lot of the times you actually get less results. And that is because the recovery aspect is so goddamn important when it comes to training and getting results. So once again, it's more complex than that. But how often? Probably 3 to 5 times a week. And you know, if you're new to the gym or exercising overall and you're like a beginner, well then shoot for 2 to 4 times a week, okay? Because that's a good point too, that when you're starting out, like I see it's a very common thing that you think that, okay, I want to get jacked, for example, to put it into words of this video. I want to get jacked, so, you know, starting Monday, I'm going to go to the gym 4 times a week, and, you know, I'm not going to eat any sugar at all, you know, no treats, no nothing, and I will do a 15-minute yoga circus ritual every morning. And it's like, brother, why? Why? I mean, you have to understand in the back of your mind that you're not going to do these things. It's gonna fucking suck and you hate it. And why even? What's it good for? Okay, so if you have a child and you're a father and the child yearns for, you know, being able to cycle, then you not just throw his ass on the cycle and only one hand at the start. Like, why? Build your way up. So like have a tricycle first, like maybe 1 time a week, 2 times a week. And then, you know, as you get more into the journey, then you can slowly start to add on things because you can manage it all, okay? It doesn't get overwhelming. So when you've done 2 times a week, you know, for a little while and it feels good, well then, you know, maybe then, depends, you could start to focus on your diet, or maybe you could add another session or 2 sessions. You get the point. So if you're new, dial it up. Don't go for all or nothing mindset. Okay. So I'm not a very structured person, so I just realized that I kind of have to force this video to be towards the gym and strength training in order for it to make sense, because if I make a video for everyone, then it's going to be a video for no one. So even though I think it's true, and listen to my advice on pick something you don't hate, even if that's tennis, but from now on, just so you guys are aware, I'm going to be speaking in the terms of the gym, strength training, traditional strength training, to make my analogies and examples. Now they probably fit quite well into other forms of training, but just so I had that said, okay? So how do you actually get results from your training, okay? So results in the gym. Results in the gym, okay? They're driven by 3 pillars. It's going to be the actual training. It's going to be sleep / recovery, actually. I'll write that. Sleep / recovery. And it's going to be food. Okay? And I cannot understate how important all of these aspects are, okay? If one of these is absent, then your results are going to be shit, okay? If, yeah, anyways, I don't have to spend too much time there, but all of these are equally important, okay? You can't have good results, you know, if your sleep is shit, or recovery, or if your training is shit, or if your food is shit. You can have okay results, you can have decent results, you can have progress, but you can't have good results. You can't have great results. All right, motherfuckers, you hear me? So sleep well, eat well, train well, and I'm going to spend the rest of the time here, probably, if I don't go on a rant, diving a bit deeper into what I actually do to each of these sections, okay? So let's focus on the training one since we are already talking about that. So we already said like somewhere between 2 to 4 to 3 to 5 sesh per week. Okay, so that's a good baseline. Now, if you're a beginner, then I would probably recommend training like a full body. So what that means is when you're at the gym, you train your entire body when you train. So in the gym or blah blah blah, it's common that we usually split our workouts into different muscle groups. So for example, a classic split is the push-pull leg split. So if I train push, I train my push muscles, okay? So that would be the chest, the shoulders, and the triceps, okay? Pull day, which would be, obviously pulling muscles. So back, biceps, maybe like rear delts, traps, I guess. And then legs, pretty self-explanatory. Then we train the leg muscles. So there's a bunch of reasons why we usually do this. But once again, and that's a bit too steep for this video. But the point is, if you're a complete beginner to the gym, I would recommend you to train full body. Why? Because you can get away with it. And if you are between somewhere like 2 to 4 sessions per week, then that's a good place to be training full body while not jeopardizing your recovery. And when you're new, you're going to have to put a lot of effort, time, simply to learn the movement patterns of different exercises, realizing how do I use my muscles, how do they activate, how do I do the exercises. So it's probably going to be an effective way for you to train. So I would recommend beginners, full body. So I could imagine a question being like, how long for the sessions, okay? Now, to put it simply, how long? I can't answer that question once again because it's not that simple, because it depends on how much you get done in that session, okay? So somebody could get the same amount of work done in like a 35-minute, very intense session full body compared to somebody doing a very low intensity, low effort workout that is 2 hours long doing full body, okay? So it's not necessarily about the time, you have to understand that. But I would probably say your workouts, assuming I'm talking out of the majority of the people now, okay? I know there's outliers, people that can achieve it, but I would say most people, if you want genuine good results, probably between 45 minutes to like 1 hour, 1.5 hours, I'd say. That's probably going to be the sweet spot for the majority of people, okay? So if you are training intense, if you're training hard, if you're training effective, you can get away with a 45-minute session. Or maybe your life is hectic and busy and you can't manage to squeeze in all of that time into a workout, then that's going to be a hell of a lot better than not exercising at all or exercising for 10-20 minutes, right? Okay, so every progress, every training does matter, and it does help, and it does do you plenty of good. And then probably not more than 1.5 hours, especially if you're a beginner, because then you're probably overdoing it or you're just fucking around in the gym too much, okay? Like there's few people that can justify being in the gym of actual proper training for 1.5 hours, okay? We are mainly looking at more experienced trainers or people that are training in a very sluggish pace. Like for example, powerlifters could easily be in the gym for 2.5-3 hours. But anyways, that's the side point. So how long? 45 minutes to 1.5 hours. And like what should I train? Like what program? Okay, what program? Like what do I do in the gym? Okay, so once again, I don't have any set in stone program to look for. I'm willing to bet $1 million that if you were to Google like beginner full body workout 3 days a week or something just like that, in the likes of that, you will find plenty of good stuff on the internet. So just pick something. It ain't that deep, especially when you're new. Like literally all exercise is going to give you fucking crazy results in the beginning, okay? Because results, okay, let me side note here. So let's move over here, okay? So results. So let's make a little graph here, okay? So we have the x-axis and we have the y-axis, and this is we'll say gains, and this is time, okay? So in the beginning your gains are just gonna, and then they're slowly going to be kind of something like this. This is ish how it works. So results are absolutely not linear. In the beginning, you're going to just be showered with progress and muscle mass and gains, but over time it goes way slower. Okay, so in the beginning it doesn't matter too much what program you do or how it looks, but just Google something, pick something to it. And I know that if you're new to the gym, you're maybe thinking, well, how the fuck do I do the exercises? What do I do in the gym? Bro, we live in 2026. You could just Google all the exercises before you go to the gym if you're new. So if, let's say there's a full body workout and maybe one exercise is squats, one is leg extensions, one is pec deck. Oh shit, I just hit my microphone there. A pec deck, some bicep curls. Bro, just Google all of those exercises, YouTube the exercises before your session or at the gym, and just look, okay, how are the people showing how to do the exercise, and try your best to do it yourself, okay? Your form and your technique is going to be dog shit in the beginning, but that's expected. I mean, how could it be anything else when you're completely new to the gym? So don't worry too much about that. And another thing I will say, that maybe some of you guys feel a bit like self-conscious, or like, I don't want to do things wrong at the gym, or I don't want people to look at me or judge me. And I can tell you that pretty much nobody judges you in the gym, okay? It is very, very rare. Like, obviously, we live in the world we live in. Yes, there are going to be people that judge you and judge the fuck out of you, okay? So that's going to happen. But I'm telling you, it is very, very, very rare. And the people judging you, maybe this helps if you understand that people that actually are doing something productive and good and helpful with their lives, that are, I don't know, jacked, strong, or good people, they won't be the ones that do judge you. Why would they? I mean, they've been in the same position as you. They know how intimidating or tough it was to start out. So why would they hate on you for starting out? And it's the same thing. Like, imagine if you are like, let's imagine like a dude is super overweight, like this guy, we're talking way level here, okay? And he's at the gym, and, you know, very understandably, maybe he feels very conscious going to the gym, like, people will judge me, I'm so big, blah, blah, blah. But brother, like, that is the ideal place for you to be at, right? Like, there's no way to argue or hate on a really big guy being at the gym. I mean, that's where you should be, if anything, right? But ironically, he would probably get judged less, or at least feel less judged, if he were at a McDonald's hauling down 69 chicken McNuggets with 7 dip sauces, and even eating off the ground or something, bro. Sorry, my mind got carried away there. But point is, what exercises, YouTube them, okay? You'll figure it out. There's plenty of people way smarter and way dumber than you that figured it out, okay? It ain't that deep. So we touched upon the training aspect. Your training, how often, how long, what program, and how do you actually execute. Now we need to touch on something extremely important, and it's going to be effort. Effort / intensity / failure. Okay, I'll just group all of these aspects in, okay? So guys, I've been going to the gym for many, many years now, okay? So please, if there's like a special subject that you open your ears up extra for, it's please let it be now, okay? Because I've been going to the gym for so many years. I've seen people that started out when I did, or a year after, blah, blah, blah. I've seen so many people that go regularly to the gym that are not getting good results, that are not necessarily becoming that much stronger, that are not necessarily becoming much bigger. I know people's goals, expectations, wants from their training differ, okay? But let me tell you this. Majority of the people in the gym, they are absolutely not training hard enough. And that's probably one of the biggest reasons holding them back, okay? I see so many people that stop either, I'm guessing, they're like, well, you know, the program said I should do 10 reps or 12 reps. And, you know, I did 10 or 12 reps, so now I stop. But maybe that person could have done 2, 4, 6, 8 more repetitions, and they stop. Bro, do you think you're gonna get anywhere with your training or in life if you're stopping there when you have plenty more much to give? And this is, once again, this is an analogy for life. You got so much more in your tank, you got so much more drive, power, energy, but you're saving it, you're reserving it for fucking what, bro? Go crazy in there, okay? Stop training till mild discomfort, and to put it completely clear, stop training like little bitches at the gym if you want to get the best results, okay? If you want to get the best results. Not everybody does. Some people just want to go in there, feel better, you know, mental health, or, you know, to just exercise a bit. That's fine, okay? That's completely fine. I understand that, I respect that. But I know there's people out there that are robbing themselves progress and gains because they're not training enough. Hard enough. So it has to be hard. I'm just gonna write it so goddamn simply. It has to be hard. Big fucking important. I'm gonna just circle this bitch in, okay? It has to be hard. And it has to be harder over time. If you're a beginner at the gym and you do bench press for the first time, maybe you can do 30 kilos. That is hard. It is difficult, okay? Maybe you can do 4 reps. Fast forward a month, you can do it for 8 or 10 reps. That's no longer very hard for you, my friend, okay? It is time to put yourself in that excruciating position that you were when you started, when you did 30 kilos for 4 reps, okay? Let's go to 35 kilos. Let's go to 40 kilos. Let's go to 45. And then, a couple months, years later, you're chilling benching 100 kilos, okay? That is how you get stronger. That is how you get more muscle mass. Your training has to become more challenging and filled with more effort over time, okay? You will get stronger, and so has the challenge, okay? It is a pain in the ass for the body to create muscle mass, basically to create muscle mass. The body necessarily isn't that fond of you becoming a jacked fucker, okay? Because it's a lot of effort, energy, and a big process for your body to create more muscle mass, okay? So why would your body allow you, basically allow you to create or become bigger, stronger? Okay, why? It's because it has to, okay? So we're talking biology here. We're talking genetics or blah, 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 whatever, okay? So the body doesn't want to make a bunch of extra muscle mass. The body creates more muscle mass because it's needed, okay? Think caveman, primitive shit, okay? Jeez, Skropan, he struggled like a motherfucker today lifting something. He needs to be stronger in order we can save his life, okay? He needs to be stronger to be able to lift this rock off, you know, his fucking baddie primal cave woman, okay? That's kind of how it works, okay? So you have to put yourself and your body in positions where it's forced to the limit, where it has no other option than to become stronger and bigger. So that's why it's so important to train hard, and why you won't get anywhere if the intensity doesn't become higher over time. So in practice, what can this look like? It can look like doing more repetitions. It can look like increasing the weight. It can look like doing more sets. It can look like having less rest. And this beautiful, important phenomenon is called progressive overload. You dig? Staple in training. Without it, you won't get anywhere, okay? You don't need more information than this to become jacked from a training aspect, okay? So let's leave it there. Okay, so let's get back. Now we'll focus on sleep/recovery. Okay, motherfucker, did you know that it's not when you're training that you are becoming bigger and stronger? It's when you sleep, okay? Because when you sleep, the body is in a repair mode. That's when the good stuff happens, okay? So that's why sleep is so important. Well, for a bunch of reasons, but I'm telling you this. You could be training like a beast at the gym, really progressive overloading, training very intensely hard, blah, blah, blah. But if you are not sleeping, then you won't get anywhere, okay? So sleep is important. And honestly, I'm too lazy to go deep into this, so I'll just put it like super fucking simple. 6 to 8 hours every night. And this is ideal, okay? This is what you want to be shooting for. I understand, like some people of you guys maybe are parents, or you work night shifts, or dealing with depression. Fuck do I know, man. Okay, I understand, life happens, and I'm not necessarily the best at this myself, so I have very lots of understanding for the sleep aspect. But I'm telling you, 6 to 8 hours is ideal. Now, there's a bunch of like micro optimizations we could talk about sleep, but honestly, it's for this video and this purpose enough. It's good enough, okay? Sleep 6 to 8 hours every night, and the bonus is that try to wake up and go to sleep at the same time to really maximize the quality of your sleep, okay? And obviously you want to shoot for as quality time of sleep as possible. You don't want to wake up 10 times a night. But I am not going to spend my time talking about sleep anymore, even though I could, alright? So let's move on. 6 to 8 hours of sleep every night. You got it? You dig? Progress incoming. There we go. Food! So, dietitian, in parenthesis, Skropan, that's me, he loves food, okay? He loves food. Sorry, I'm fucking around, but to be honest, guys, so the food aspect is also huge, it's important, and to give you the absolute simplest explanation I can give you of this so you understand why food is important is, one, if you do not have any protein in your diet, then you literally can't create muscle mass, okay? Well, maybe technically, you know, you can create a fucking ounce of muscle mass in 5 weeks, even though you don't have any protein. Don't quote me on that, because I'm not a scientist and I'm not a nerd, but for the point and for this video, okay, you can't create protein without muscle mass, okay? Very known fact. So protein is building blocks for your muscles, okay? So you need protein in order to build muscle mass. Now that's just a very, very simple, brief explanation why you have to understand how important food is. And it's also the aspect of calorie, energies. Everything that we eat is composed of energy, which is, you know, calories, or we refer to it as calories, okay? So if we're in a calorie deficit, which means that we are using way more energy than we are consuming, then that's not optimal for the best results or getting stronger or bigger, because your body is in a catabolic state and not an anabolic state. Simple explanation. So I'll just give you the kiddie version of diet, okay? So in diet we have 3 macronutrients. So we have protein, we have carbohydrates, and we have fats, okay? So I hope you understand that all of these are important, and there are also micronutrients, which is a bunch, yeah, as it says, a bunch of other nutrients that are also very important, but simple version, we are only going to talk about macronutrients here, and if your macronutrients are unlocked, then most likely your micronutrients are going to be in a pretty okay spot too. Yeah. So protein, how much protein? I will say for the majority of the people, you want to eat somewhere between 1.3 to 2 times grams of protein per kilogram body weight. Okay, motherfucker? So if, you know, a 70 kilo person is watching this and we take the higher spectrum, which is 2, then they should shoot for 140 grams of protein. And that's per day, motherfucker. Okay? So shoot for somewhere in that range is going to be optimal for giving you the best capabilities of building muscle mass, okay? So shoot for that. It's going to be hard. You're going to be underestimating how hard it is in the beginning. You're going to have to research what foods have a lot of protein in it. You know, we're talking meat, eggs, we're talking, yeah, all of this classic thingies. If you are really, really struggling to get your protein in, then purchase a protein powder maybe and use it as a supplement, not a staple or the main thing in your diet. This pisses me off. I haven't used protein powder for coming up on 2 years now, and my gains have, not to be a douche, but my gains have literally never been better, and I don't take any protein powder at all. So you don't have to take it. It's a supplement, and it's, if you can't find enough protein in your diet, then that's when you take your protein powder, okay? There's nothing magical, nothing special about it. Protein powder is just a form of milk that people have distilled. It's basically like a rest product from the milk or dairy industry, and they put it into powder, and it's protein dense. Literally the same as eating food, okay? Not magic. Carbohydrates, just eat, bro. Just eat. No, but if I'm going to be serious, okay, so carbs have the purpose in the body. They're mainly an energy source. And let me be clear, because I know there's so much bullshit on the internet about diet. Trust me, as a dietitian, pisses me off. It is what it is, okay? Carbs are not fucking harmful. They're not dangerous. You shouldn't avoid them at all costs, okay? Some people will feel better if they eat no carbs or low carbs. Some people will feel better if they eat medium or high carbs. Guess fucking what? We're all people, we have some shared genetic pools, but we differ quite a bit. So some people are going to feel great by some things and some are not. Some people have different diseases, allergies, whatever, okay? There's nothing wrong with carbs. There's nothing amazing with carbs either. They're primarily an energy source that your body uses. That's their greatest function. Your body requires X amount of carbohydrates per day to function optimally. If you were to not eat any carbs, your body is so fantastic that it has found a way to use other energy sources to function or to create carbs, okay? So, my advice, just eat it, okay? If there's anything I'd have to say to carbs, it's that usually carbs are pretty easy to eat. They are not always necessarily very filling or voluminous foods. So it's easy to overeat on them, and a lot of carbs come in processed or unhealthy forms, which is probably why they've gotten a bad rep. We're talking about chips, cookies, you name it, bro, or like pasta or anything, things like this, okay? There's nothing wrong with these things per se, but they are very easy to eat in huge amounts because they're not filling you up. And that is, guess what? That's putting you in a calorie surplus, which means that your body is not expending as much energy as you're consuming, which leads you to store more fat in your body, okay? So, eat carbs, don't exclude them, don't eat a bunch if you don't feel great on them, but it's not that deep, okay? It's going to be about just having a balanced diet, if I really simplify it, okay? So, just eat, bro. Fats, they are huge, okay? So, if you remember, I said that you can survive if you don't eat any carbs. That is not true with fats. Both protein and fats are necessary. They are mandatory for life. They are mandatory for you to function and not die and become a skeleton from Minecraft, okay? So you need to eat fats, period. You need to eat protein, period. So, you need to eat at least a certain amount of fats every day in order for example, hormone production and a bunch of other shit, fat-soluble vitamins and stuff. So fat is absolutely needed in your diet, okay? But then again, don't go overboard on it. Fat is energy rich. Protein has 4 calories per gram and carbs likewise. But fats have 9 calories per gram. That means they are very energy dense, which for example has caused the common misconception of nuts. Nuts is generally a very healthy food to eat. It's good for us, and people think walnuts are way better than, you know, snacking on chips or popcorn or whatever it may be. Yes, they are, but if your intent is to lose weight or to not eat a bunch of energy, then no, they're not. They're probably worse because they are so energy dense, because they consist of a lot of fats. Side note there. Fats are important. Eat fats. You get them from oils or butter or dairy products, or they're in the meats that you eat, or blah blah blah. Okay, fats. Sorry. I took myself a bit in too much when I thought that I could cover all of these aspects in one video. That's why I'm shorting it down a bit. But fats are important. Eat fats, okay? Do not do the 90s classic horrible fad where people thought that fat literally makes you fat. No, that's not how it works at all. So eat fats. So, moving on the diet aspect, if you want to, lose weight, then you need to be in a caloric deficit, okay? which means you have to, once again, I'm not even going to say it, or I am because I'm a dumbass, you're going to have to be burning more energy than you consume per day. Now, we can achieve this by either eating less energy, not necessarily less food overall, okay, because there's different energy dense foods, okay, but eating less energy is one way. It's going to be the best way, it's going to be the easiest way, and I'll touch upon that later, okay? And you have the option of, using more energy through your body. For example, exercising more, starting to train, going on a run, going on a walk. These things, they're good, they help, but why it's always going to be most effective to go for the food. Easiest example I can make is that imagine 100 grams of chips, pretty easy to eat, nothing crazy at all. You can eat it in a couple of minutes probably. Now, if you were to burn or use the equivalent amount of energy in 100 grams of chips, which is roughly 500 calories, then that would be the equivalent of sweating and busting your ass off on the, bicycle in a very high effort and speed for probably 50 minutes to an hour. Now, which one is easier and which one are you actually going to do, buddy? Huh? Yeah, so diet is the most important thing to focus on if you want to, put yourself in a caloric deficit or surplus. So if you want to lose weight, it's an oversimplified version, but it's true. That you pretty much only have to think about your caloric deficit, okay? So, yeah. Google how to put yourself in a caloric deficit. I can't cover it in this video. But for a complete beginner, if you don't exercise right now, you're not very health oriented, you will automatically probably put yourself in a caloric deficit by just simply going to the gym and exercising 3 times a week. That will probably be enough for most of you. Anyways, video for a different day if this one is appreciated. So, calorie deficit, and I'd say if muscle up, this is supposed to be an arrow, by the way. If muscle, if weight, then same thing, but calorie surplus. So if you want to gain weight, if you want to maximize how much muscle mass you gain, then for most people it's probably going to be in a calorie surplus, which means that you actually consume a little bit more energy than your body uses, okay? So if you need to gain a lot of weight, then put yourself in a higher calorie surplus, which means that you eat more foods than you consume, like a more significant amount. And if you just want to maximize your strength and your gains, then eat a slight bit more, okay? Not anything crazy, not a McDonald's spree at 3 a.m., just a little bit more. An extra sandwich, a few extra fruits per day, bigger portion sizes in your daily meals, okay? Nothing crazy at all, okay? Because otherwise you are just going to get fatter, okay? It's a tale as old as time, and trust me, I've been there in that situation too. You fool yourself into thinking, if I just eat more, I'm going to become bigger and stronger, and you overdo it and you simply get way too fat, and then you have to spend a bunch of time cutting, losing weight, which is a pain in the ass, okay? So eat a little bit more, okay? And then, just to have it said, there is a thing called calorie maintenance, okay? Which basically means that you are pretty much using the same amount of energy that you are consuming. And this is probably a very healthy and good place to be for most people that aren't severely underweight or severely overweight. For your average Joes, this is probably going to be a pretty nice place to be at, okay? So I myself, for example, I've been very comfortably sitting at my current weight for a long time now, which has to mean that I'm at a calorie maintenance. I enjoy my diet. I don't feel it's restricting or anything like that. And I can manage a pretty lean physique without effort, okay? So calorie maintenance is probably the place to be for most people. So, holy yapathon, okay? So what have we touched upon today? Well, we touched upon how to get jacked, okay? So let me repeat this. And let me turn off the recording of the iPad. Actually, let me not do that. Let me repeat this. You want to get jacked. You need to train. You need train, exercise. You need to sleep and recover well. And you need to have at least a decent to good diet, okay? These are the 3 pillars, the 3 aspects. These are the only things you have to think about. So it is pretty goddamn simple, but it's definitely not easy. That's a huge difference between those 2 words, and this applies very well to this certain thing. So focus on these aspects, take it in your pace, try to improve it slightly over time. Don't go into the expectation that everything is going to be perfect, or I'm going to focus on everything at once, because it's just going to lead to you thinking it's overwhelming, it's too hard, and then you give up, and then you find yourself at January 1st being a delusional fucker, thinking that something has changed because the calendar has changed, okay? So make the change, focus on these aspects, and my recommendation is to go with the path of least resistance, okay? So we're looking at the training aspect, path of least resistance, the training that you hate the least, okay? When you've been doing that for a while, okay, time to dial something up. Do I do it with sleep? Do I do it with diet? Do I do it with training? Go for the path of least resistance. If you're really liking your training, then add in another session. If you're not too keen of the training, but you're a bit interested in optimizing your diet, then go into the diet, okay? It's not rocket science, guys. You can do this. Plenty of people have done it. I, a previous obese gamer boy, managed to do it so well that it's literally become my expertise or my work area, okay? I literally have a degree in this shit. That's absurd looking back at my life. Anyways, so I hope you enjoyed this video, this little spiritual successor to how I, an idiot, made a $10,000 business. If you guys do like these videos and if you find them valuable, then please engage with the video and let me know your thoughts in the comment, because that would be very appreciated. If you want me to touch upon different subjects, maybe something that we dived shortly into this video, please also let me know. If you need some advice, shoot me a DM on Instagram or shoot it in the comments. If you need proper, genuine help and guidance, I could perhaps do online coaching. Maybe DM me. I've done it in the past, and just a heads up, it's not free because my time isn't free either. Okay, that makes sense, right? So see you guys in the next video, whatever that will be. And seriously, guys, from me to you, take care of yourselves. You are important, and your health is also important, okay? Quality of life. So yeah, have a good one, and this has been Skropan. There we go, baby. Another video in the books.